The NFL is an ever-changing league, and over the past few years, and more specifically this offseason, we've seen receivers get paid like we never have before. And a couple of years ago, because we really haven't seen any recently get paid, at least not relative to receivers, but it was a huge deal when running backs were getting paid, because you don't pay running backs, and that's a death sentence because of their longevity and the injury possibility and everything of that nature. But in today's video, we're going to discuss receivers and the possibility that they are becoming overpaid in a sense, and we're going to break everything down. So without further ado, let's begin. Now, the first thing I want to say is I'm extremely happy for Tyreek Hill, Davante Adams, Stephon Diggs, even Christian Kirk, all these guys that got paid big money recently. First off, I'm happy for them. They've worked tirelessly for this all their lives and are now being compensated as such, and congratulations. But what I want to point out in today's video is I do believe we're entering this territory where receivers are getting extremely overpaid, and it makes me wonder what type of contracts guys like Deebo Samuel, Terry McLaurin, DK Metcalf, and AJ Brown, among many others, are going to receive in the near future. Because when you break it down, Davante Adams signed a 5-year, $141 million deal with a little over 65 of that being guaranteed. And for what it's worth, Davante's contract has an out 3 years in, to which the Raiders are protected, and they're currently slated to pay Davante over $36 million in each the 25 and 2026 season when he would be 33 and 34 years old. So I don't expect them to ever get to that point, and this is essentially a 3-year, $67 million deal. But my question is, what is the difference between paying Davante over $22 million per year for what he produced in 2021, which was 123 catches for 1,500 yards and 11 touchdowns? Sure, Hunter Renfrow isn't anywhere close to where Davante is currently, but in his third year in 2021, he put up 103 catches for 1,038 yards and 9 touchdowns, while he is on the rookie scale contract. And no joke here, Davante in 2022 will be making more than $20 million more than what Renfrow is. And by the way, that's just one example of this, and for clarity before these names come up, I want to keep Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase out of this because these guys are different, and unfortunately for Drake London, Garrett Wilson, and the rest of the 2022 NFL draft class, with the rookie seasons they've had over the past 2 years, they're going to have rookies with wild expectations this year. So I want to keep these two specifically out of this conversation. But back to Renfrow for a minute, and you have a receiver who will more than likely be productive again this year, yet again on the rookie scale, and will be looking to get paid a year from now, and rightfully so. He's earned it. And I don't think this is a matter of if, I think it's a matter of when, and that's when are we going to start having the conversation of how receivers are getting way overpaid for their positional value. And that's not to diminish their positional value, but Davante is getting paid an average of $28 million per year. And to be fair, Davante won't see year 4 and 5 of that deal, as the Raiders aren't going to pay him $34 million at 34 years old, but this contract he signed is a lot. And for reference, 4 years ago, Kirk Cousins signed a 3-year deal worth $28 million per year, and that was historic. Now, $28 million for Kirk Cousins, and now Davante Adams is signing this kind of deal? And we're entering unprecedented times as a league because the money, meaning the salary cap, is going to go way up over the next 10 years. But this offseason was truly the wild west for receivers getting paid, and Tyreek Hill received a 4-year, $120 million deal for an average of 30 per year. And what baffles me regarding these contracts is every draft you see what NFL positions are valued most by NFL teams. Quarterback is obviously number 1, then pass rusher, then the guy who protects the quarterback, which is an offensive tackle. We've had one receiver taken number 1 overall in the past 26 years, and that was Keyshawn Johnson back in '96. Over the past 5 years, it's been 4 quarterbacks and 1 pass rusher, and over the past 10, it's been 7 quarterbacks, 2 pass rushers, and 1 left tackle. Yet, here we are with Tyreek, Davante, and Diggs getting these egregious contracts when players on their teams like Jalen Waddle in Tyreek's case, Renfrow in Davante's case, and Gabe Davis in Stephon's case all put up numbers at no joke, and this is for Renfrow and Gabe Davis because Jalen is a former top 6 pick, so he's obviously going to make more money than later round guys like Renfrow and Gabe Davis, but Renfrow and Davis are making about a 20th of what it costs for Stephon's service and Davante's service. And my point in all of this is, would you rather have TJ Watt and Deontay Johnson or Stephon Diggs by himself when building a team? Deontay is also about to get paid, and congratulations to him when he does, But within this, I think there's going to be a very reactionary way NFL teams go about this because a receiver is hauling in $30 million per year. I really do think in the next couple of years, teams are going to load up on pass rushers, hoping they can get the next Danielle Hunter or whoever as a mid to late round guy, draft a receiver early, and essentially spam the shit out of him like people do in Madden when his time is up, for him to get paid. Put him on the franchise tag for a year or two, and then by that point, he's 5 or 6 years in the league, so he'd be at minimum 27, probably 28 years old. So you let him go and test the waters of free agency, or do exactly what the Chiefs did. Send him to another team that's willing to pay for his services, in addition to the multiple picks you're about to receive for the said player. And that's not too far off from what teams do with running backs. They'll use them for 4 or 5 years, then let them go, and occasionally you'll see a huge contract that teams regret, like a Rams with Todd Gurley or Cowboys with Zeke Elliott. But this is a take that I haven't seen a lot, but I really do believe NFL wide receivers are becoming the new running backs in that aspect. I think we're going to reach a point where receivers are only getting paid this big top dollar if you are one of the elite of elite players like a Justin Jefferson or Jamar Chase when their time comes, because every receiver within those two draft classes, whether it's T. Higgins, Michael Pittman, CeeDee Lamb, Jalen Waddle, or whoever, they're going to want to get paid that top dollar, and T. Higgins' contract and his time to get paid is going to come before Jamar's, which will present a very big challenge for the Bengals when that time comes. Because quarterbacks, as I make this video, are getting paid right around $40 to $45 million per year. And as mentioned, Kirk Cousins seemingly broke the world when he signed a contract in 2018 at $28 per year, and that was 4 years ago. Joe Burrow will be looking to get paid in 2 years, and Cincinnati will have to pay him whatever he requests, period. And Jamar is more valuable to the Bengals than T. Higgins is, but T will get paid before both of them. So what will Cincinnati do? Or maybe I should be more specific. T will be in line to get paid before both of them. So what's Cincinnati going to do? Pay T 25 or 27 a year, and by then, who knows, maybe 28 or 30, then pay Joe 50 a year, and then pay Jamar 30 or even 35 for the next couple of years? Are we going to get to the point where we have 3 players on an offense, as in a franchise quarterback and 2 good receivers, cumulatively make $100 million per year between 3 players on a 53-man roster? I'd be shocked if that was the case, and for this reason, this is why teams are going to start to get creative in how they pay their players. Of course, there's going to be the occasional receivers like DJ Moore on a team like the Carolina Panthers, who is a good player and who will naturally be compensated because the team isn't very good at the moment and they don't have anyone else to pay. Mainly, they don't have to pay $45 million per year to a player, and they can easily work with DJ and keep him there for the next few years. But players on these high-flying offenses like T. Higgins, who is easily the best example to use because of what will eventually happen, T will have to be tagged or traded at some point, unless they just want to pay $100+ million to 3 players. And I think the same could be said for the Pittsburgh Steelers if they currently had a $40 million quarterback, but they do not in Mitch Trubisky or even a first-round pick in a couple of weeks. Paying $45 million to a quarterback and another $25 or $30 to his weapons just will not be a reality for NFL teams moving forward. And honestly, as crazy of an idea as this sounds, I think we're going to revolve back around to running backs being paid top dollar at some point. Now, to be clear, top dollar is kind of tongue-in-cheek there, because I don't think Najee Harris or whichever back you want to use, Jonathan Taylor, whoever, will ever get paid $30 million per year, but I think NFL teams are going to say at some point, wait a minute, we're paying Devontae Adams, Tyreek Hill, whoever, and it's just these guys that we're using for today's video because they got paid this offseason, so they're fresh, if you will. But we're paying these guys $28 or $30 million per year for 110 catches, maybe 120 if we're lucky, when we can get a Najee Harris and hell even go get another running back that's good and pay them a combined $25 million versus $30 and work with a bunch of young receivers like we've done and like we've developed over the past 15 years. I truly believe there's going to be a point in time where NFL GMs and front offices think to themselves, wait a minute, yes, this is a good football player, but why would we chunk out this much money when we can, to a degree, change how our team operates and still get good players at that position? Because receivers are routinely found in the 2nd and 3rd round that are good players, and pay these guys in the rookie scale and go after and trade a first-round pick for a pass rusher that's going to get 14 or 15 sacks per year. Now, I don't know when this change of belief will take place, but my point is, within all of this, is NFL receivers are extremely overpaid at the moment, and there will have to be some way to balance this out. Again, I congratulate every NFL player on making it this far in their career, please understand that, and especially to those guys that get paid. But from a business standpoint, things will change, and soon at that. And with that being said, that's all I have for today's video. I hope you enjoyed, and if you did, now is the time I ask you to please leave a like and subscribe to the channel, because it would truly mean the world. And until next time, please be safe and have a great day. Love you guys.